Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. Today I'm taking a look at the latest offering from Unique Toys, their Y-01 provider, aka Octane, the triple changer. This guy arrived yesterday morning. I got him out of the box and my initial thoughts were, is he a masterpiece figure? It's been a big debate over on my Facebook page whether he actually classes as a masterpiece-inspired figure. Is he the right scale? Is he a classics figure? And I guess this video, I'm going to run you through the pros and cons and let you guys make a decision. As it stands for me, he is going to be part of my masterpiece collection. But whether you guys agree or not, let's see. Straight off the bat, he's made of a very high quality, very durable plastic. It's kind of what we've come to expect from the likes of Unique Toys and DX9. It's really, really solid and well made. I'm loving the chrome on the front here. Bear in mind, please, this is an early test shot, so we do have small flaking and things don't quite tab in as they should. But again, this is just because it's an early test shot. Just slight markings on there. That's how it arrived. I mean, it was in a jiffy bag with no instructions, so I think it's done pretty well. It's a really, really nice tanker truck. I think out of the three modes, I think actually the bot mode is the weakest of the three. I think it pulls off this huge tanker truck extremely well, and the Boeing jet is absolutely sublime. You've got this chrome follows all the way over the wheel arches there. You've got rubber tyres on here, lovely chromed out rims. That's something that some of the third parties and even Takara don't do, chrome out the rims. You've got the lovely steps going up to the driver's cab, and again you've got a very realistic looking tanker section on the back there, albeit he's carrying his firearm on top, which of course is entirely optional. The only part it gets a little bit less realistic is when we get to the back here, and we can't really avoid those Boeing windows. You can tell everything is tucked away inside there, and this is probably going to form the shaft of the jet, but nonetheless it does pull it off really well. Lacking some chrome detailing along here to make it look more like that G1 toy, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to take. Taking a look underside there, things are hidden away quite nicely. You can see that the wheels all fold and you've got your jet thrusters underneath here all tabbed in. But all in all, you don't have much bot visible and the jet is tucked away extremely well. Not important for some, but definitely an important factor I like to feature. It does roll quite freely, although these wheels here don't tend to hit the floor at the same point as these back ones do. But it's probably just this bumpy surface. He does roll quite freely. Let's throw some nice spots in here for scale. Here we have G1 Hot Rod. Here we have Legends Huffer. Probably a little bit too small, I think, to be displaying these with the Legends. Now, Brawny is a mini-bot, isn't he? I think that's actually quite a nice scale. Just comparing the door sizes, etc. That's not actually that bad at all. Bringing the Datsuns in, Smokescreen is probably, he's probably a little bit too big. I mean, Takara, they scale their masterpieces via the robots, don't they? They don't scale the vehicles as such. I mean, if not Soundwave would be like this big, I guess. But that's, I mean, the tyres are a similar sort of size. It's just when you compare like the door sizes that you don't think the driver would probably be able to get in. He's probably a little bit too small, maybe a tenth too small. Here he is with the Dinobot. And we have Robots in Disguise Bumblebee, just because he's a good size for a normal deluxe figure. So if you want to display him with kind of your Generations line, aesthetically I think he's more in time and keeping with the Masterpiece line, because he is very reminiscent of a proper tanker. But he does have that sort of scale which is compatible with the Generations figures. And finally, Decepticon-wise, here he is with one of the bad cube bugs. Now, one of the things that really impressed me from the get-go was the actual transformation that's incorporated within this guy. It's one of the things that I think kind of defines this from being your classics kind of Combiner Wars era to a true masterpiece. The fact the engineering and the way things are done with folds and tucks, I think that's what really does pull this above some of the other figures we've seen in the third-party line. So, without further ado, let's get him transformed up. Now, please bear in mind I don't have any instructions at all, so I'm playing this by eyes alone and kind of guessing my way through it. The official transformation may be different and may differ slightly, but the overall effect will be the same. If you rotate these back sections here, they're actually on a ball-jointed hinge, so you've got a nice free run there. Push out this tab here, which is tabbed into the side, and we just flip this section down. You can instantly see this is now going to form part of the wing section. If you bring that back over, we can close off this tab here, and we now have 2 jet thrusters. Let's do that with both sides. Come around to the front here, just get a nail in there and just split this section open. That's going to just pull this section forward slightly. As you can see, it's actually on a forward hinge. You can then grab the nose cone and just bring that forward. Again, that's on a slider, just so it's clear. And then we can close this section back off around it and just tab that back together. That's the front of the Boeing. And we can just bring the wheel down and just tilt that. And already that looks fantastic, doesn't it? Just need to come to the underside and just untab this section here. It just lifts up. It's only a couple of tabs securing that in. That just lifts up. It gives us now free access to the underside here, which is going to fold out to form the rest of the wings. Now, one of the most frustrating parts of the transformation is just how securely everything is tabbed in. We have to split this front cab section, and I physically cannot pull that apart. It's tabbed in so securely. So what I just do, I normally get just a flathead screwdriver, and there's plenty of space in between there, and just work these apart just slightly around the joints. Bear in mind, again, this is just a test shot. But yeah, that's opened that up completely. Right, come to the front of the tanker. Flip this section here forward. You want to rotate the chrome side plate. Just bring that all the way round and just have it like so. You can then swing this section forward. That now allows this entire section here to come back round. You can pull the wheels down. And this wheel here is going to locate behind this wheel. And this whole wing here is going to come in, and that's going to tab together, and that's going to tab at the top here as well. You need to rotate this wheel around so the tyre is facing backwards, and then these all tab together, and that sits on top of that wing like so. And just push all of these together, securing them in place. You can now come to the underside and relocate that section down. Lift these side panels behind the cab, and you want to just lift up one section above the other here, and that allows these 2 sections to split. And you want to move those out of the way so they're clear. Come to the leg, and you want to just flip this tab open. Now, we're not actually doing anything with these. These will eventually just plug back in where we've got them out. But what we need to do, we need to just untab this side, and we need to just make sure there's free rein underneath here, because this section here is tabbed in on both sides. You just want to give that a little bit of room, open up this joint slightly, and what we're going to do, this panel here is on a rocker. You want to lift it up, rock this panel back, and just work that panel around like so. So basically it's moved this undercab section back about an inch. And then what we can do, we can then bring this section back together again, and we can just then rebuild it. We can then bring this section back in, and that's going to tab back into that side. And again, we're going to just close off this section here. That's going to bring back in, and that's going to tab in again. This is now going to form the underside of the jet. If we compare the 2 sides, you can see this one here I haven't moved back yet. This one here, you've got all this extra bonnet space here. Your next task to do, you need to just flatten these sections here, these hip flaps, and we're just going to move this joint, and we're just going to rotate it around on the ball jointed hip, and we're going to have it on the underside like so. So these 2 sections are going to butt up nicely against this underside chest section. You then need to come round to these sections on the bottom here. And what they're going to do, they're going to extend like so. You've got this chromed out section here. That's going to flip out. And we're going to tab that in like so. And we're going to do that on both sides. So flip this section up, flip this section out and rotate it around. And these are going to form part of the tail fins. And with those two sections there, just line everything up, bring these tabs together, and this is all going to tab in gloriously. Tab this section back down, tab this section back down like so. Come to the underside and just tab that all in. Basically, we've got the arse end of a jet here. Let's just tuck this section here. That's going to come up and round to the top. And again, this side up and round. And that's going to stretch up and over and tab in like so. Of course, the last port of call, just flip this section out and rotate that around, and there we have a nice tail fin. Now, I personally think that's like voodoo magic. That is fantastic. They've literally hidden the entire truck away from sight and given us a very convincing bowing. And you've even got like lights on the wings there. You've got a really nice solid shape. It's very robust, very, very sturdy. Everything's tabbed in brilliantly. I love the chrome used on the inside of the jet turbines there. Really, really fantastic. The underside, again, it's actually fairly well hidden, I think. You can see parts of the truck, obviously, here where the cab is on the underside, but other than that, I think they've done a sterling job. Absolutely fantastic. I'm actually genuinely extremely impressed with this. Like with tanker mode, the wheels do roll. Unfortunately, these wheels are not rubber. But there is just enough clearance above the wings, which again are very well supported. There's no balance issues there. I generally, if I've been displaying this, I've been messing around, I've been putting him on Saw's stand. And as far as jets go, he is absolutely glorious. Love it. Scale-wise, now see, I think that works a lot better with the Legends figures, just due to the sheer size. I mean, until we actually have mass-shifting Transformers, I think we're going to really struggle with triple changes. You can't get that alt mode and the bot mode all matching up. Again, here's Brawny. See what I mean? It just doesn't tally up. You can't get them the exact same scale. Now, as far as gun storage goes, I've seen on the Robot Kingdom video, I think it was, this flipped down like so, and it was just tabbed in on the underside like this. It's okay, but I like my things to be central. I really wish there was a way of getting that just in there. I can't quite force my way in. There's a small hole there where I think it would possibly plug in, but I can't quite stretch it in there. I don't want to break anything, but it would look much better being centrally located on the underside there. There's just not enough clearance for this to tab in under there, which is a shame. I think that would personally look better than being offset to one side, but again, that's my personal preference. Now, of course, being a triple changer, he does in fact turn into 3 things. Let's get him changed up into his robot mode. First things first, let's flip these sections back down, and they're going to tab back into the side panels here. Do the same with this side, bring that round. Make sure that locates and tabs in like so. And we're going to split this back section open. Just pull that open, pull the chest section up, untab these, and pull up these side panels as well. They're going to form the side skirts of the bot mode, just like so. And basically, we need to untab these legs again. Because basically, each time you tab these sections in, you locate and secure the inner workings of the leg. So unfortunately, you can't move any of the internal workings whilst either side of these tabs are plugged in, which sometimes can be an inconvenience, but it's worth it in the end. So now we've untabbed those, we can bring this section around, and you can hear that click. There we go, that's tabbed in. We can now bring this section back and locate like so. And this side here, we're going to bring up. We're going to flip this section around like so. And that's just going to tab in there, forming the leg. keeping this section down because this here is going to form the toes. You fold the cone section around and fold that back in. Flip that together on that double hinge. That's going to form the heel spur. You can then collapse this section down on the cab, bring it all the way down, and unfold it like so. That then falls forward. Move that leg out of the way. Like so. That's now the foot. Let's do that with both sides. You want to just split the panel around the backside there. Lift those skirts up. Flip this one down. And we're going to rotate the waist around. And grab Octane's thighs. Just give them a little swivel. And give it a little swivel that side. That now lines all his legs up. Next step, you want to come to his nose cone. Just pop the nose cone up. And what we're going to do, we're going to split this section at the top, pull those sections out, and we're going to collapse that nose cone back in and just close that section off and tab that in. You then want to lift this whole section up, and this here is basically going to slot around and fiddle in here somewhere, but for now we just keep it off to the back. Things are definitely starting to take shape now. You want to grab this tab at the top here, just underneath that section we just lifted up. Flip that out, and basically this is now going to allow us to rotate this section down. Now, if you go this way, you're going to find some hip clearance issues. So the best way is just to maneuver it up and around the arm joint at the top there, and that brings the wing sections around to the back. These skirt sections here, I generally bring forward. I'm not entirely sure where they're meant to live. Like I say, at the moment I'm going from what is in essence guesswork. So, I mean, it could possibly live at the back there like so. But I think, I can gather from the prototype pictures that they do actually live there on the side. We come up to the top here. And for now, we're going to move these shoulders down. These arms are tabbed in at the top. Just move that down. And with those arms down, we can now move this backpack section round. And as we're bringing that round, you want to move it up like so. And you're going to push it down. And as it comes down, it's going to actually locate in this section here, which forms part of the torso. So just bring that round and just thread that through like so. And then we can just bring that wheel section backwards. I think that's a fantastic way of folding in that backpack. Bring up these shoulder pad sections, flip them up and over. And the idea is to tab those both together behind what is going to form the head. It's just a matter of tabbing those both in like so. Come down to the arm, bring this shoulder down, rotate that around, bring this forearm down. And then this section here is just going to collapse. You're going to flip the fist out, which is on a ball mounted hinge. Close that off. And that's actually going to form the front of the forearm. So we can bend that like so. Do the same with this side. Pull that section down. Pull it out slightly, gives a little bit more clearance on those shoulders. Rotate this outer section around like so. Bring the arm down. Collapse this section here. Then bend this section up. Flip open the fist like so. Close that section off. And then just adjust the forearms accordingly. As you can see, we've already got the head. That's actually on a swivel. You can rotate that around. And this section is going to bring up here, and that's going to tab in either side of there. Just push that together, like so. If you open up this tab here, you've got these two sections here. They're going to rotate round. And then as we bring this down, there's a tab here and a tab here. They're actually going to bring in, it's going to collapse the chest. And these are going to go back. Come on, collapse, collapse, collapse. There we go, that's it. And these are going to tab in either side of his waist, securing all of that in place. And there we have him in his full robot mode. I know I said it was the weakest of the three, but still he looks so good. I mean, I understand what people mean when they say the aesthetic of the robot mode doesn't quite match what we're getting from the likes of Takara, but all in all, I think they've really managed to capture the look and feel of the G1 animation, and I think he's got such character. He's got all of that colour that was hidden away in both his alt modes, and he's just got really, really striking features. He's got that big IDW-inspired chin that we've come to expect from the likes of Unique Toys and DX9 and even MMC to an extent. But all in all, I think he portrays all three modes exceptionally well. I mean, just look at that face sculpt. That is absolutely sublime. Really, really love that. It's like he can have a nice long conversation with Sandstorm, couldn't he? Really, really good. Really bold, striking chin there. I love the crest on the helmet. The shoulders are okay. Probably the weakest part of the bot mode are the shoulders. While I'm talking about that, let's cover the articulation. He's got fairly good upwards motion there. Downwards motion is a little bit lackluster. His shoulders are on this pivot. So they go up and down. Then they are on a rotation there. Really, really tight rotation. We have a swivel at the upper bicep. We have an individual swivel there, so we can extend the arm up and down. We have a nice bend at the elbow, only giving us approximately 90 degrees though. The wrist is on a ball joint, so you have a little bit of pivot there, and it rotates fully. And we have an open and close on the fist. Unfortunately, the fingers are all joined and they are on a single pin. The waist does rotate, only hindered slightly by these tab sections, but like I say, I'm not really sure where they should go. But again, you do get a nice free range of motion. The hips do lift out, so you can get a full-on Van Damme split. And we get a really nice motion backwards. And again, coming forwards. We have rotation at the upper thigh. We have, oh, I love that. And the detailing on the inside of the knees as well. It's a really nice knee joint there. The feet, we do have pivots forward and back. We do have some up and down motion as well, but it's not overly secured. It's basically balance it and it will stay. Again, this is probably something that will be tweaked for the final version. But the overall result is a very well-balanced, striking figure which can pull off some pretty decent poses, especially for a triple-changing robot jumbo jet fuel tanker bot person. Now, scale-wise, this is the biggest issue I have. DX9 Chigurh, whom I see as my masterpiece Astro Train, he towers both bulk and size over Octane. But having Octane displayed with my masterpiece collection, I actually think that maybe Chigurh is possibly oversized and he's actually a little bit too big. Please bear in mind that in the G1 animation, Octane got possessed by Starscream's ghost. Now, I don't have Starscream, but I do have Thundercracker, and obviously the proportions are exactly the same. They do stand a very, very similar size. The shoulders are about level. It's just that Thundercracker's head is slightly larger and probably a little bit more prominent as it's raised above the shoulders. And obviously I haven't transformed this properly, I haven't clicked it in, but you get the gist. They are actually a very, very similar size and scale. The arms, forearms are approximately the same size. The shins aren't far off at all. As you can see, the general proportions are about right. It's just the head is a little bit small. The wingspan's probably a little bit too wide. But all in all, they are very reminiscent of what we got with the animation. Here he is with some other Masterpiece-inspired Decepticons. Also, we have the Takara Soundwave, we have the Make Toys visualizers, we've got the Bad Cube Bugs, and we've got the cassette. See, I think that's actually a pretty good scale, and the colours, oh, I love that Decepticon purple. Here he is with some Autobot scum. For the Generations fans, he's probably a little bit too big as he scales approximately spot on in the cartoon with Sandstorm. Sandstorm being the same mould as Springer, so he's probably a little bit too tall. And before you all ask, yes, that's the Fans Project Bruticus gun that Springer is holding, and it's awesome. And here he is with Riveltech Woody. So there we have it, guys. This is the Unique Toys interpretation of Octane. My personal opinion is he is a masterpiece. I mean, whether you decide to put him in your Generations collection or your Masterpiece collection, you have to really applaud Unique Toys for the engineering. To make a figure work as well as they have done in all 3 modes, you really do have to applaud them. They've already left us a big space here for our Decepticon logos. Really love the paint applications. It's a good, solid figure made of a good, robust plastic. What we've come to expect from some of the third parties now. And in my eyes, a true masterpiece. If I haven't done any scale comparisons that you would like, please leave a comment below and I will try and get them up on a full gallery over at benscollectables.com. The link will be up here in the info. Thanks again to the guys over at Robot Kingdom for shipping me out this sample to have a play around with. And until next time, from myself and Unique Toys provider, let's hope they give us more triple changes. Goodbye.